What if your brain is a road, and every time you overthink, you're wearing the same path deeper into the ground? What if the Bible already told us how to build a new road? Overthinking is everywhere. It shows up when you send a text and refresh your phone every 10 seconds waiting for the reply. It shows up at midnight, replaying a conversation from 3 years ago that nobody else even remembers. It hijacks your drive to work, your time with your kids, even your prayer time, because instead of praying, you're just spiraling. And for a lot of us, overthinking feels responsible. Like if we don't turn a decision over 100 times, we're being careless, or irresponsible, or unprepared. But Paul writes something in Romans 12:2 that flips that completely on its head. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Romans 12:2. Renewed. Not repeated, not replayed, renewed. Here's what most people miss. This isn't a suggestion to think positive. It's a command to build something new, physically, in your mind. And what's wild is that modern neuroscience actually backs up what Paul wrote 2,000 years ago. Your brain literally changes shape based on what you rehearse. So today, I want to tell you about a woman named Rachel. She's a nurse, a mum of 2, living just outside Dayton, Ohio. And over the course of one hard year, Rachel is going to teach us, without ever knowing it, exactly what it looks like to walk out this mind renewal habit the Bible describes. We're going to trace her story alongside Romans 12, the story of Joshua, the story of Martha and Mary, and the story of Elijah under the broom tree. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just have information. You'll have an actual habit you can start tonight. Number 1, the problem. A mind on repeat. Before we get to the fix, we need to name the problem correctly. Overthinking isn't really about having too many thoughts. It's about having the same thought on repeat, dressed up as productivity. Rachel's overthinking started small. Her hospital cut her hours during a slow season, and one night her husband mentioned, almost in passing, that they might need to dip into savings to cover the mortgage. That was it. One sentence at dinner over mashed potatoes. But that sentence didn't stay one sentence in Rachel's mind. By 9 p.m., she was replaying it. By 11 p.m., lying in bed, she was running scenarios. What if her hours got cut further? What if she lost the job entirely? What if they lost the house? What if her kids had to switch schools? None of that had happened. None of it was even close to happening. But her mind had already lived through the worst-case version of it 40 times before midnight. That's not wisdom. That's a groove. And Paul names exactly where that groove comes from. Being conformed to this world. Conformed means pressed into a mold, shaped by the default pattern happening around you. And the default pattern of this world is anxiety, control, and replaying worst-case scenarios until you feel like you've somehow solved the problem by suffering through it in advance. But Rachel never actually solved anything lying awake at midnight. She just wore the groove deeper. And the next night, her mind found that groove faster than the night before. Number 2, the science. How your brain builds roads. Here's where it gets interesting, because the Bible describes something your brain literally does. And understanding this will change how you fight overthinking for good. Neuroscientists have a saying, neurons that fire together, wire together. Every time you think a thought, tiny cells in your brain called neurons send an electrical signal down a pathway. Picture it like walking through a field of tall, uncut grass. The first time you walk through, it's hard. The grass fights you. You have to push through it step by step. But if you walk that exact same path every single day, the grass eventually gets flattened. A trail forms. And after a few weeks of walking that same trail, your feet just go there automatically. You don't consciously choose it anymore. It's simply the path of least resistance. That's overthinking, in plain terms. Every single time Rachel replayed the money conversation, she was walking the same trail in her brain. And her brain, being efficient by design, started sending her down that trail faster and with less effort each time. Not because the danger was real, but because the trail was well worn. This is actually why, by the third night, Rachel found herself anxious about the mortgage before she'd even had the thought consciously. Her brain had learned the route. It didn't need her permission anymore. That's what scientists call neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to physically rewire itself based on repetition. It's not a metaphor. Brain scans show measurable, physical changes in the pathways people use most. Here's the good news buried inside that science. Your brain doesn't care which trail you walk. It will just as happily build a path of truth, peace, and trust if you walk that path on purpose and walk it enough times for it to become the new default. That is renewal, not one dramatic breakthrough where anxiety disappears forever. A new trail, worn in daily, one walk at a time, the same way the old one got worn in. Number 3, Joshua, meditating on the right thing. Now let's look at a man staring down one of the most overwhelming situations in all of Scripture, Joshua. Moses, the only leader Israel had ever known, just died. Joshua has to lead over 1 million people into a land full of armed nations, fortified cities, and, by the reports of the spies, literal giants. If anyone in the Bible had a legitimate reason to overthink, it was Joshua, standing on the edge of the Jordan River staring at Jericho's walls. And God doesn't tell him, "Stop worrying, it'll be fine." God gives him a replacement, the exact same pattern Paul later teaches in Romans. "This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night, that you may be careful to do according to all that is written in it." Joshua 1:1-8. Meditate day and night, on the word, not on the walls of Jericho, not on the size of the enemy armies, not on the what-ifs of leading a nation into war with a general's resume of exactly 0 battles won. God is telling Joshua, "I'm not asking you to feel nothing. I'm telling you what to rehearse instead of the giants." Rachel eventually did something similar, though she wouldn't have called it that at the time. A friend from her church small group told her, almost offhand, "Every time your mind goes to the mortgage, say Philippians 4:19 out loud instead. My God will supply every need of yours according to his riches and glory." Rachel thought it sounded a little too simple to actually work, but she tried it. And the first few times, it felt forced, almost silly, saying a verse out loud in her car in the school parking lot. That's normal. Remember the grass in the field? The first walk down a new trail is always the hardest one. It doesn't feel natural yet because it isn't worn in yet. Joshua wasn't told to ignore the giants standing in front of him. He was told what to meditate on instead of the giants. That distinction is the whole game, and it's exactly what Rachel was learning to do, one drive to school, pick up at a time. If this is already hitting close to home, pause for a second. Like this video so someone else stuck in the overthinking loop can find it. Comment, "Renew my mind" below, and send this to someone you know who replays conversations at midnight just like Rachel did. Okay, let's keep going because there's more to Rachel's story, and there's more the Bible has to say. Number 4, Martha and Mary, anxious about many things. Let's go to Luke chapter 10, one of the clearest pictures of overthinking in all of Scripture. Jesus is a guest in Martha's home. Martha is running around preparing the meal, managing the details, doing what genuinely needs to be done for a house full of guests. Her sister Mary, meanwhile, is sitting at Jesus' feet, just listening. Martha gets frustrated and asks Jesus to tell Mary to get up and help her. And Jesus' answer is stunning, and honestly, a little unexpected. "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her." Luke 10:41-42. Anxious and troubled about many things. That's the exact definition of overthinking. Your mind sprinting between 10 different tracks at once, none of them fully resolved, all of them fighting for your attention simultaneously. This is exactly where Rachel found herself about 6 weeks into all of this. It wasn't just the mortgage anymore. Now it was the mortgage, and whether her marriage could survive financial stress, and whether she was failing her kids by being distracted at dinner, and a comment her sister made at Thanksgiving 2 years ago that suddenly resurfaced for no clear reason at all. 10 tracks running at once. That's Martha's kitchen, just relocated into one exhausted woman's mind at 6 a.m. before her shift. Jesus doesn't shame Martha for serving. The meal genuinely needed to be made. He redirects her focus. One thing is necessary, not 0 things. One thing. Mary had chosen to fix her attention on one place, one person, Jesus, sitting right in front of her, instead of the 10 legitimate tasks pulling at the room. That's the renewal habit in action. Not eliminating every task and every thought, because life still has to be lived and bills still have to be paid. It's choosing the one true, steady thing to fix your mind on when everything else is pulling you in 12 directions at once. Rachel started doing something small. Every night before bed, instead of letting her mind pick whichever worry track it wanted to run, she asked herself Martha's question. What's the one true thing I know right now? Some nights the answer was simply, God provided for us this month. That was it. One true thing, instead of 10 anxious ones. Number 5. Elijah, when overthinking turns to exhaustion. There's one more story worth walking through, because overthinking doesn't just live in your head. Eventually it drains your body too. And nobody in Scripture shows us that more clearly than Elijah. In 1 Kings 19, Elijah has just experienced the greatest spiritual victory of his life. He called down fire from heaven in front of the entire nation. And within 24 hours, one threat from Queen Jezebel sends him running into the wilderness, sitting under a broom tree, telling God he wants to die. It is enough. Now, O Lord, take away my life. 1 Kings 19:4. Notice what God does not do. God doesn't rebuke him. God doesn't quote him a verse about faith. God lets him sleep. Then God feeds him. Then God lets him sleep again. Only after Elijah's body was rested and fed does God speak to him, gently asking, "What are you doing here?" This matters because Rachel's overthinking wasn't just a spiritual problem. It was also showing up as exhaustion. She wasn't sleeping well, and unrested people overthink more, not less, because a tired brain has less capacity to walk a new trail and defaults even harder to the old, well-worn one. Elijah's story gave her permission to treat rest itself as part of the renewal process, not a distraction from it. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do for your overthinking mind is go to bed on time. Number 6, the practical habit, building the new trail. So how do you actually do this practically starting today? Paul gives us the exact mechanism a few chapters later, in 2 Corinthians 10:5. We take every thought captive to obey Christ. Captive means you don't let every thought roam free in your mind like it owns the place. You catch it. Here's the simple 3-step habit Rachel eventually built almost by accident over about 3 months. Step 1, name the loop. The moment she caught herself replaying the same worry, she said it out loud, sometimes literally in the car. I'm overthinking the mortgage again. Naming a thought pulls it out of autopilot and into your conscious awareness, where you actually have a choice. Step 2, ask the Martha question. Is this the one necessary thing right now? Or am I running 10 tracks at once? Almost every overthinking spiral fails this test the moment you ask it out loud. Step 3, walk the new trail on purpose. Pick one true sentence, a verse like Romans 12:2, or Philippians 4:19, or Joshua 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And physically say it instead of replaying the loop. Out loud, if you can. Rachel told her small group later that the habit didn't feel like it was working for almost a month. That's the grass field again. The first several walks down a new trail always feel forced, because the old trail is still deeper and easier to fall into. But she kept walking it anyway, every single time the thought showed up, whether she felt like it or not. By month 3, something had shifted. She noticed one night that she'd gone to bed without the mortgage thought showing up at all. Not because the financial situation had fully resolved, it hadn't, not completely, but because her mind had built a new default trail. Truth had become the path of least resistance, the same way worry once was. That's renewal. Not one prayer that fixes everything forever in a single moment. A habit practiced daily, the same way Joshua meditated day and night, the same way Mary sat at Jesus' feet again and again, the same way Elijah let his body rest before his mind was asked to trust again. Let's walk back through the whole mind renewal habit from Scripture. 1. Name the problem. Overthinking is conformity to a worn groove, not wisdom. Romans 12:2. 2. Understand the mechanism. Your brain builds trails based on what you rehearse, and you get to choose the trail. 3. Meditate on the right thing. Like Joshua, replace the giants with the word. Joshua 1:8. 4. Choose the one necessary thing. Like Mary, fix your attention instead of running 10 tracks at once. Luke 10:41-42. 5. Let your body rest. Like Elijah, treat sleep and food as part of spiritual renewal, not a distraction from it. 1 Kings 19. 6. Take the thought captive. Name it, test it, replace it, on purpose, every time. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Overthinking may knock on your door every single day. It knocked on Rachel's door every day for months. But it doesn't have to move in and live in your house. You can't control every thought that shows up uninvited. But through Christ, you can choose which one you let stay and which trail you walk instead. The Bible doesn't promise a mind that never wanders. It promises a mind that can be renewed. One true thought, walked daily until it becomes the road you default to without even trying. If this spoke to you, like this video, comment, "Lord, renew my mind," and share it with someone who needs to hear that the loop can actually break. And don't forget to subscribe for more biblical truth that strengthens your faith and renews your mind. You don't have to walk that old trail today. You get to choose the new one.